Hey, I've done a video like this before, but I figured I would do one again. It might end up being more of a series, I figured I would show off the different instruments that I have in my collection. Um, and, you know, here it is. Here's the video. So without further ado, here are the instruments. This one right here is a stick dulcimer, kind of a funky looking. It's made by the Seagull Company, which is they're known for their acoustic guitars, and they're from Canada. So this instrument is designed, I believe, off of something called a mountain dulcimer, which is an instrument used in like Appalachia in Canada, and I believe the mountain dulcimer is like a laptop instrument. But anyway, this one is played right side up from everything I can tell, everything I've seen. And it is tuned, it has 4 strings tuned to D, A, and then the top 2 are grouped together in what's called a course, which is essentially 2 or more strings that are grouped together and played as one. So that top course is 2 strings and they're both tuned to D and played as one. So it's just like a neutral D chord, a D power chord type thing. But the fretboard is actually diatonic, meaning it is set to a scale. So most Western instruments, if they have frets on the necks, they are fixed to what's called the 12-tone equal temperament system, which means there are 12 equal divisions between the octave, or up the octave. So an octave is essentially the same note, let's say D, but higher. Sorry, it was a little out of tune, but you might be able to tell that that's essentially the same note, or that. That is the same note, but up the octave. And normally, you'd have like 12 frets between those two. Or, I guess, 11 frets between those 2 points. On like a guitar, or a baritone ukulele, or a mandolin, so on and so forth. But in this case, it is set to an actual like scale, in this case a major scale. So that's just playing each fret up from the last one, when normally you would have to like do 2 frets up to get to the major third, and then whatever. Or I guess it's more than 2 frets, but whatever. That's really all I have to say about this. I haven't played it since I got it a whole lot. I did use it on the outro song to my EP, which released yesterday. I saw Mantis today. That's the name of the EP. The song itself is The Soil Takes, and I did play this on there. So if you want to see what it sounds like in a actual song context, then check that out. On to the next instrument. This is the mandolin. So this mandolin is made by Fender. I picked it up at my local music shop. Same with the dulcimer. In fact, I actually bought these 2 at the same time. So, a little bit about the mandolin. It originates from Italy. You'll see like Italian mandolins would have had a round bowl back, and they were smaller. Like the neck would have been the same, but the body itself was smaller. And I believe they would have been tuned to the same thing, which is from low to high, G, D, A, E, which is the same exact pitches as violin or viola, except in this case they're metal strings. Well, they're wound metal strings. I don't know if violin strings are wound. I'm honestly not sure. But whatever they are, these are metal strings. 2 sets of them are wound, and the other 2 are plain. But as you can tell, there are 8 strings in total, and 4 notes, and that's because there are 2 strings that are grouped up into one course, like with the stick dulcimer. So you have G, G, D, D, A, E, E. Another thing that's a little bit different, there is an actual like special mandolin pick. There are 2 different main designs, if I'm not mistaken. This is one of them. It's a little bit more egg-shaped than a guitar pick, if you've ever seen a guitar pick. I only just picked up one of these. For the longest time, I was just using a mandolin pick. But here is a little, the only tune that I know on it. It's very simple, but I'm still learning. Yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say. Another interesting thing, though, actually, is that the bridge is movable. You can move it back and forth if you so choose. I don't choose to, so I don't. On to the next instrument. This is the baritone ukulele. This is made by Ohana. They're more known for their regular ukuleles, but anyway. Baritone ukuleles are usually tuned to the top 4 strings of like a normal standard tuned guitar, being D, G, B, E. I have this tune down a half step from there, so C sharp, F sharp, A sharp, D sharp. And these strings are super old, so that combined with the lower tuning make them sound almost like those like rubber bridge guitars. Very soft, delicate sound. Which I really like. Let's see, I got this at the same guitar shop that I got this other 2 instruments at. They must love me there. And yeah, that's not really, I don't really have anything else to say about it. It's a nice little instrument. Let me just play a little bit of something that I wrote. On to the next instrument. The next instrument is, surprise, surprise, a regular ukulele. So there's a regular ukulele by Kamise. I got this as a Christmas present, actually, from my parents, which was super nice. And I have no clue what like money range this ukulele is from, but it's actually like really nice. It's quite pretty. And it sounds pretty good in my opinion. I mean, maybe not as good as like a higher quality ukulele, but I think it sounds really nice. It stays in tune really well too. But anyway, usually ukuleles are tuned G, C, E, A with the lowest string, like lowest is in closest to your head. Actually being the highest, or one of the higher tuned ones. So usually they're tuned in something called a reentrant tuning, meaning it starts high, goes lower, and then goes high again. And I kept it in a reentrant tuning because otherwise I would have to restring the ukulele, and I don't want to do that. But I do have it set to a different tuning, which is F sharp, A sharp, D sharp, G sharp. Which I think sounds really nice, and I pretty much treat as my standard tuning for ukulele. So I'll just play a little bit of something that I wrote. I guess I could go a little bit into the history of the ukulele. The ukulele actually came from, obviously, Hawaii, but it was essentially the Hawaiian natives' attempt to recreate or changes that they made to Portuguese instruments. I forget the exact name for the Portuguese instrument that led to the development of the ukulele. But, Portuguese settlers slash colonizers, however you want to think of them, settled and visited Hawaii and brought their instruments, and, the natives liked them and took those instruments and changed them in different ways. I believe in this specific case, the one that led to ukulele was a 5-stringed instrument, and they took one of the strings off. I could be wrong about that. And they developed this weird reentrant tuning. But, I think that's pretty interesting. If you've never read about Hawaiian history, I think you should. I did a report in 5th grade on Hawaii as a state, their history, their economy, all that kind of stuff. And I went into it thinking it wouldn't be that interesting, but it is pretty interesting. Hawaii is the only state that has ever had a monarchy, its own monarchy. It used to be a leper colony and a penal colony, and it's one of the only it's the only Asian majority state, which is pretty cool. I mean, sad that there aren't more states that are minority majorities, but it's pretty cool that it's the only Asian minority majority. Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say. That is it for this first part of the series. I hope that you found, hope you found this a bit interesting. I hope you learned a little bit about these instruments, and about me. And if you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know. If you have any other recommendations for videos to do, also let me know. Stream my EP. I mentioned earlier, I released an EP yesterday. It's called I Saw a Mantis Today. It's acoustic folk, kind of like my first EP. You should also stream that. You should also stream the other songs I have on my Spotify. And let me shout out a friend. His name is Sal, and his channel here on YouTube is called Salamander Man, and his music is great. You should check him out. I've done a few songs with him. Might have some more stuff coming, just a little sneaky peek. Stay corny.